With that in mind, I asked NDC residents what they thought of the police and did they think they were doing a good job.
You know, I think they're all right. I think, you know, ones that come into community house, you know, spot on. If you've got a problem, they will do the best to help you out with it.
Tyrone Ali is the local PC. He's the actual PC, and he's a very, very good policeman. And he happens to be a Pakistani that was brought up in this area.
The ones that we get in here are nice. We get on with them. Say there's about 2 or 3 that come in here on a weekly basis that we get on with. And we can talk to him. He's our Father Christmas every year, you know what I mean? And he's willing to take part in the community, which I think is what's needed. They need more faces, not PCSOs, they need more police.
We see loads of them around here, you know, but I don't think there seems to be. I think it's more petty crime, you know, like, you know, well, it's not petty, but like garden sheds and your burglaries. I think the more concentrate on that, where we need the bigger issues with it, drugs. You know, because I mean, there's more and more kids getting more involved in it, isn't there now? So I think it's all right to do it.
So what do you think should happen then?
More police on the streets. I know we've got community wardens now.
I think that we need more police on the streets, more cars, more people, police patrolling around, especially these areas.
Maybe more policing in the area.
Maybe we need more police and parents actually doing something about the kids' behaviour. I personally have a 12-year-old daughter. She's got a mobile phone. I always know where she is. She's got to be in by 8 o'clock. So I think a lot more parents should maybe think about doing stuff like that.
Possibly more rehabilitation for drug users.
Find people jobs. That's it. If they can find people jobs and things to do, right? To either go to college or get them get into some type of work, so community work or some work, okay, help them a bit more, then you might find crime rate might be going down.
For people like Mick Godfrey, it's about taking responsibility in our communities.
Well, I run a community group which gives people a chance to air their views. We also deal with people's problems, and we've got a fairly extensive list of people that can deal with those problems, such as NDC and people like that. The police, if they want to talk to the police. And at the end of the meeting, they're encouraged to go and talk to whoever's there at the particular time, and they will actually do something for them. We've got proper trainers coming in from Learn Direct, just to bring the area up, just to do job searches, to show people how to do job search, to show people there are opportunities within the area that they could fulfill. And that centre will also create employment. It may only be for 4 or 5 people, but it will create employment for people living in the area.
What happens to the momentum created by NDC seems to be a pressing question, one I put to Alan Campbell at the Home Office in London.
Well, first of all, let me congratulate everybody involved with NDC. I think we've got a real success story here. People told us at the beginning that crime was very important to them in their local communities, and I think we can point to real success in crime too, with people feeling safer in their communities, a fall in burglaries, for example. What we need to do is to make sure that that work is embedded in local communities. One of the things that we can do from NDC work is to learn lessons and make sure that that not only informs work in those areas in the future, but that it also rolls out into other areas too. We very much want it to be a long-lasting, positive story.
I spoke to Steve Shostak for the final time just before he stepped down in March 2009. I asked him to assess the NDC's impact on crime in Doncaster.
Well, there are 3 considerations really when you're looking at the impact of our activities in the crime arena. Firstly, fairly predictably, we've invested huge amounts of money in tackling these issues over the last few years, and they've been remarkably successful. We know that, we're comfortable with that, but that's just one element of it. The second element is more about trying to influence a changing culture within the communities of the NDC area, where partner organisations, the local authority and residents start to work collaboratively on crime. And it's not just an issue that needs to be tackled by the police service, for example. It's a collective approach to tackling the problems of crime. I think that's the second point. And the third one is actually more about the nature of the NDC itself anyway. And it's this. Crime is one of many different areas of activity that the NDC is involved with. We're involved in trying to get people into work, trying to improve people's health, educational attainment, exercise and physical activities. All those areas of what we call comprehensive regeneration are fundamental to the way NDC goes about its work. So crime has to be set in that context. And it's as much an importance that we're helping people to get work and training people into employment and dealing with antisocial activities and finding decent housing and an improved environment. These are the factors that make NDC more important, and they're the long-term legacies that we hope to leave behind after NDC funding comes to its end in March 2011.
It's a view echoed and amplified by Doncaster's senior police officer, although he concedes that significant challenges remain.
I think in terms of the future, the biggest challenge for us is the sustainability, and that's not just around NDC, but it's elsewhere. You know, the 10-year legacy of NDC, of course, comes to an end in 2 years' time, but of course we then have a succession plan, or NDC have a succession plan to move things forward in the future. But for us, you know, we need to make sure that we continue to engage. We need to continue to make sure that we work closely with NDC, and there are some challenges because, of course, even within the NDC area, you know, crime is still too high for me. Even though we've had fantastic success and working extremely well with partners and local residents, you know, even one crime is one crime too many. So we've got to work even harder and work even smarter, direct the activity, make sure that the intelligence is flowing through and that we react in a manner that the public expect us to react. You know, the political influence continues to be extremely important. Of course, central government and regional government are driving the political agenda to some extent. And that can become difficult at times because what we are doing, because we are in an age of limited and ever reducing resources, we have to balance our resources on a day-to-day basis. If I had an extra 20 or 30 police officers, then that could make a fantastic difference to the lives of people in Doncaster. You know, there's more that we need to do around organised crime. There's more that we need to do in relation to asset recovery and taking more proceeds of crime off individuals, because even if we can't catch and convict those individuals, we can often get into the bank accounts, and if we can demonstrate that they are making a living out of criminality, then we have legislation there to be able to seize assets and actually plough them back into providing an even better service to the public. So there's things that I want to do, there's local strategies that I want to implement. The restrictions that I have sometimes are particularly around resources and efficiency plans, where the numbers of police officers may over the next couple of years actually start to reduce, which would be extremely worrying for me. And that's basically simple maths. Simple maths is if I'm given a low budget, then the number of police officers and police staff that I can employ are less and less. You know, and we're working hard to make sure that through modernisation and being creative and innovative, that we don't actually see a reduction in terms of police officers on the streets. But of course, that's a risk. It's always a risk when resources are reducing year on year.
There's no doubt in my mind that the NDC, together with the police and other partners, have made a significant impact on crime in deprived areas of Doncaster. It shows not just in the crime figures, but in the way that the communities have responded themselves and are taking greater responsibility for their own future. NDC continues to implement innovative solutions to crime detection and prevention, and have taken steps to ensure that the work continues beyond 2011. The new Legacy Trust has begun to buy assets which will provide income for future projects. The former Doncaster Art College, for example, which will be refurbished and in time will make a significant financial contribution to the Trust's work. South Yorkshire Police have adopted the Policing Pledge and are committed to delivering a top quality level of policing no matter what the economic environment. The work undertaken by Doncaster NDC and South Yorkshire Police, working in partnership, has been amongst the best practice in the country. The people and organisations involved are committed to taking this forward, and I'm convinced that despite economic difficulties, will continue to make a positive difference in Doncaster well into the future.